Rocket Pat here. Alright guys, it's another hot rocky day in the jungle, man. It is like Chamber of Commerce weather here in Houston, Texas. Weekend before Thanksgiving. And it's probably going to be about 80 degrees today. Well, man, I tell you what, I have been working really hard on a little girl over here, and I'm making progress, got some things going on and all that, but we still got big holes in the thing, you know, But I decided I needed a break. I have been working hard on this car, and my knees are needing a little let up and all that kind of stuff. So I decided that, man, I was tired of looking at Johnny with that ugly frame. So had some tractor paint that I don't know where it came from, whole quart, black gloss paint. Watered it down with a little bit of thinner so it would go on there a little easier. It probably needs a couple more coats of full bore, blah, blah, blah. But man, much better than that. And then I got to thinking, man, I got a whole lot of parts laying up there on that shelf up there for this truck. And a mock-up engine that was sitting right there. So let's go ahead and get the engine mounts out and let's get this thing mocked up for what's actually going in it. And, you know, everything was going swimming until I found out that I got two right side headers, and I don't know, my fault for not checking that properly. But these came from, Holly Center Street Distribution, Bowling Greens, Kentucky. And I sent an email to off the eBay people, the Holly Performance, and I don't know if that Holly Performance on eBay is the real Holly or if it's something else. But I sure hope that they can help me out with this, because that was $450 for these exhaust manifolds. And now I do have a solution in case they don't want to help me out because of how long it's been. But I doubt they're even going to help me out with that. I would be willing to pay them again for another set of these if they would just include two left-hand exhaust manifolds. If you can understand where I'm going on that, send me two left ones so that I got two sets. And then then they can take and put the two right ones back in the box and send it back to wherever they got it from and say, hey man, y'all sent me two right ones, and during our QC we found that we had two right ones, and we can't send those out. We need a refund on those. Y'all need to make that right and all. I would be willing to do that because I've got a Monte Carlo that needs a set of these, and not only that, my 94 Chevy pickup truck, as soon as that 4.3 liter goes at 325 miles, 325,000 miles on that little 4.3. As soon as that son of a bitch goes out, I got an LS that needs to go up some in there, and we got an extra transmission. Let's see, there's a 4L60E, which would fit perfectly in my pick-em-up truck. There's a 6.0 sitting there, a 4L80E that needs to go into that Monte Carlo, I believe, because that would be probably better than the big block, although I still like the big block idea. And then this 5.3 liter goes into Johnny. But yeah, I will say this. This is the Holly Hooker Holly Hooker Black Jack or something like that setup, and this is the AC box that goes with it. And I'm happy to say that we have plenty of clearance for everything. That AC box was $160, but well worth the money because I'm putting AC in everything I own. It's just the way it is. Now let's talk about AC. One of the reasons why I'm really keen on getting this thing mocked up is because I've been wondering about AC, and we see a problem there. I have no problem with lobbing off this right here. None whatsoever. I will make a pocket up in that and, and no problem. It's the idler arm. Now, my thoughts on that is, this thing's got a big ass nut on the bottom of it. And I put an impact on it, a 1 1/16 socket, and I can get it to turn, but then it just abruptly stops. It just like stops. And I don't know how to get it apart. Somehow it's threaded onto this knuckle right here. If I could take that apart, heat that up right here, bend it so that it's now laying down this direction, man, I could make that happen. You know what I mean? And get it to turn on that same little pivot, as long as that's sitting in the same spot, in direction with that, okay? Like take that line of this and extend it down. We just lay that, bend that right there so it's hanging off this direction. And that ought to swing in the same swingy swing that it should swing. You know, I'm looking at my hand and everything and not looking at this camera. So yeah, I'm thinking that I still can pocket this and get that AC compressor in there, because I don't like that R4 compressor hanging up here, and you know, that they sell a kit for. Be a whole lot easier to just buy the kit, but I don't know, man. Having the factory AC compressor just appeals to me. I don't know why. But I am happy to say everything is fitting the way it should, and that includes the transmission onto where the mount should go. A little off, but we can move it a little bit and everything. Only thing I don't have right now is the oil pan. I'm going to order one of those so I can put an oil pan on there and make sure we don't have any interference between the K member and the oil pan. All right, old man's got to get up. There's my one sit up. Thank you. Thank you for the applause. I do also think that I might need to do a little work in this little corner right here of the floor pan and all. So this may get a little bit of bulge for, you know, turn around, cut this piece out, turn it around the other way so it bulges out the other way. So that I gain a little access to my bell housing and cooler lines, gaining me some room to work on it. You know, I always look at it, how can I make it better to actually assemble the damn thing if it's going to be tight. I also know that the pinch weld that goes along up in this zone right here is going to have to be cut out. The problem I have with that is that it runs right there next to that insulation, and I might be all right, and then I might need to take the AC box out all the way to make sure I get that seam sealer burned out. You know, it's got seam sealer on it, and I've got that insulation right here for the AC and the firewall that I got to deal with to weld that up. I want to weld that up due to it'll gain me access to the bell housing bolts if I ever have to pull the transmission out of it, or if I sell it and somebody else has got to work on it. You know, it's nice to have shit where it's serviceable, right? And I also noticed that with these headers, we call them headers, we can call them exhaust manifolds, whatever we want to call them. Probably exhaust manifolds would be more correct. Clears all the suspension real well, but it seems like they're kind of diving the exhaust right here into this zone of a very peculiar. You know, I don't mind chopping it a little bit, but that's a bend area in these frames. So, you know, but I ain't putting too much horsepower to anything. But I might put a little relief into this so that the pipe can clear and be easier to work on than what's going on right here. But I ain't got everything all bolted in place properly. Hell, there's only one bolt holding these heads on. But, you know, as I always say, you know, everything's better with a hooker. Hooker headers. Fast and easy. Should be their damn. That's, you know, back in the print they would have been able to do that, but I don't know if they could do that today. All right, guys. Well, there's 10 minutes of me rambling on about my Johnny Little Dick and his little power plant that's going in him. And I am very happy that everything is fitting the way it's supposed to. I'm not this happy about my bonehead move, about not making sure I had a right and a left when these came in February. But I am happy that everything's probably going to fit. My biggest challenge is going to be bending that thing right there, because I'll pocket that. I ain't worried about that and everything. And yeah, maybe we'll get some work done on Johnny Little Dick and get him ready for paint, because I'd like to get the mechanical done before we go into paint and all that kind of stuff. All right, guys, well, y'all keep rocking and a rolling and a rolling and a rocking. And I'm keep playing with my Johnny Little Dick. Talk to y'all next time.